Okay, good afternoon, friends. How are you all doing? I hope great. Okay, so friends, as you all remember, we were doing this broad topic, chapter 7, which was public finance. And public finance, I had told you in two classes before that is divided into four parts. Number one is fiscal function, if you remember, which we do, which we did two classes back. Then we understood what is market failure, right? Which we completed in the last class. Then comes today's topic, which is government intervention. Which is government intervention. This is the third topic, which is government intervention. This is the third topic for the day. And for this topic, government intervention. And lastly, we would go ahead with fiscal policy, which would be our topic for the next class as given by ICAI. Okay. So, sir, where are we on to today? We are on to here. This and this has been done. Okay. So, topic is government intervention. If fully said, it is government intervention in case of a market failure. So, friends, you have to understand that everybody who is attending class today must have the knowledge of, must have attended the last class. That is market failure, because market failure told us that it is a situation where in an economy, if you all remember, what is market failure? Come on, tell me, because this is where the topic of today starts. What is market failure? I told in last class. Very good. I have seen some people have already started writing it down. Exactly. Simply speaking, misallocation of resources. If in a society there is overproduction of any resource or any good, or underproduction, that refers to misallocation. So, or market failure for that matter. So, market failure refers to, as all of you dear students, remember it correctly, misallocation of resources. I repeat, all of you remember it correctly. It refers to misallocation of resources. It refers to misallocation of resources. I repeat, it refers to misallocation of resources. Is so far all good? Yes, sir, we remember it so far. Now what? Now what? This is, in the last class, we have understood how market failure arises. Yes, you remember in the last class, we have understood this. How does it arise? It is because of monopoly power. That is also called market power. You all remember it. Because of market power or monopoly power, as we call it. Because of, we could say, externalities. Because of externalities. Then we spoke about public and private goods. And then we studied about information failure. Information failure. So, sir, what is today's class about? सर, आज की क्लास किस बारे में है? तो स्टूडेंट्स, ऐसी बात है कि जो भी चीजें लास्ट क्लास में हुई, मार्केट फेलियर, अब इन मार्केट फेलियर्स को, this market failures that have taken place, how is the government going to rectify it? How is the government going to treat it? How is the government going to deal with it? That is our agenda for today's class, or what we are going to speak next, or what I am going to speak next. Is that clear, everybody? Is that clear, everybody? Yes or no? Come on. So now we are doing market failure, which is representing misallocation of resources. Is that clear, everybody? Come on. Yes, sir, it's clear. So now government intervention is what we are going to discuss. Now government intervention is what we are going to discuss. So let's start with heading number 1. Government intervention. So remember, here we will talk about the whole class what government can do. What government can do. In this whole class, we will talk about what government can do to correct market failure. So I hope you have understood the objective of today's class. Everybody understood the objective of today's class? Yes or no? Yes. So number 1, government intervention. Intervention. This is number 1. Government intervention in case of government intervention in case of monopoly power or market power. What does government do here? When somebody is enjoying market power, or you could say somebody is enjoying monopoly power, because this was the first scenario we had studied. So what can the government do here? What can the government do here? Friends, there are two things that the government can do here. That is what I'm trying to explain you. Sir, what is it? The first rule would be competition based rules or regulations. Competition based regulations. Remember, we are talking about market power or monopoly power or monopoly power. So competition based regulations, competition based regulations, and then there is price based regulations. Price based regulations, price based regulations, price based regulations. So we will talk about today, in today's class, I mean, both competition based rules and price based regulations that government can introduce, to correct market failure in the case of market power being enjoyed. Is this clear, everyone? Yes, sir. So in competition-based regulations, REG means regulations. What can the government do here? Government can take steps to improve competition so that there is no one single monopoly power enjoyed by any one of the firms. Understood or not? This is competition-based regulations. Government may ban anti-competition practices. Anti-competition practices means you are selling everything for free so that no competition can enter. Government can ban that or stop that. Government can ban that or stop that. So this is competition based regulation and price based regulation. Let's talk about it. Here, pay attention everyone, pay attention everyone. Government, here what happens is government establishes rules and regulation. This is method one. Because why was misallocation happening? मिसअलोकेशन क्यों हो रहा था? क्योंकि किसी के पास मोनोपोली पावर था. उसको ठीक करने का क्या है? मोनोपोली पावर छीन लीजिए और कंपटीशन बढ़ा के. Government establishes rules and regulations to do what? Number, yeah, point A, to promote competition. Government may promote competition. Government may prohibit means disallow actions that curtail competition. जो competition को मारता है, government वैसी practices को रोक सकता है. तो prohibit actions, कि यहाँ the objective is, because यहाँ the objective is, because here the objective is to promote competition, not curtail it. So government may prohibit actions that curtail competition, curtail, or you could say restrict competition. Government may prohibit collusions. Government may prohibit collusions. Collusions means mergers, basically. Mergers or coming together of firms that restrain competition. Sir, example. Now, friends, suppose if Jio and Airtel decide to collude, come together, then in telecom market, no one will be left. Or I couldn't say no one significant will be left. So now if Airtel and Jio come together, they can exploit people like me or people like you. Yes or no? Yes, sir. So government prohibits such arrangements. Such agreements government does not allow. That will have a negative impact on competition. Government will not let this happen. Next, point D. Or government may grant exclusive right to some other people also. Grant patents, etc. Government may grant, patents, etc. to someone. Suppose if there is one person doing a business, now government is seeing that they are misusing their position, then the patent that government has granted them, government may withdraw it from them and grant it to somebody else. Yes or no? So these are competition based regulations that will tend to restrict competition, that is going to restrict competition, such practices will be eliminated. वैसी practices जिनकी वजह से कंपटीशन खत्म होगा, गवर्नमेंट उन प्रैक्टिसेस को खत्म कर देगी जिससे गवर्नमेंट चाहती है मार्केट में कंपटीशन आए। क्यों? क्योंकि मोनोपोली पावर या मार्केट पावर की वजह से ही तो रिसोर्सेस का मिस एलोकेशन हुआ था। उसको ठीक करने के लिए मोनोपोली पावर खत्म कर दीजिए। कैसे कर सकते हैं? ऐसा कोई भी मर्जर अलाउ मत कीजिए। डोंट अलाउ प्रीडेटरी प्राइसिंग। प्रीडेटरी प्राइसिंग मींस सो लो प्राइसेस जिससे कंपटीशन बाहर हो जाए। एलिमिनेट प्रीडेटरी प्राइसिंग। एलिमिनेट एलिमिनेट प्रीडेटरी प्राइसिंग। प्रीडेटरी का मतलब समझ गए? इतना कम दाम में बेचना कि कंपटीशन ही बाहर हो जाए। सेलिंग एट सच अ लो प्राइस that even the competition is shut. So eliminate such predatory pricing. Is this clear everyone in the competition based regulations? Yes or no everybody? Come on guys, I'm waiting for everyone to confirm. Very good. Now price-based regulations. You all remember in that market, what was the problem we had studied in market failure? That prices are too high and output is too low. Prices are too high and output is too low. So what can government do? Fix the maximum price ceiling. कि दाम आप कुछ चीजों का इससे ज्यादा चार्ज ही नहीं कर सकते। आप मतलब फर्म्स, आप मतलब फर्म्स, आप मतलब फर्म्स। गवर्नमेंट कुछ चीजों का मैक्सिमम प्राइस ही फिक्स कर सकती है जिससे फर्म्स उससे ज्यादा प्राइस चार्ज ही ना करे। This is price based regulation. So let's write it involves, what I am doing is, since friends on this topic also have been allowed one class, so what I am doing is the institute material only I am presenting to you in a crisp way, in a smaller version. I hope you understand. First, let me read this one. Government establishes rules and regulations to promote competition, prohibit actions that curtail competition, prohibit collusions that restrain competition, grant patents, etc. to some company, and finally eliminate predatory pricing. Predatory pricing. Hopefully, it's clear. Now, price-based regulation. What does it involve? See, number one is setting maximum prices that firms can charge. Setting maximum prices setting maximum prices that firms can charge. Number one. B, setting price cap. Setting price cap means the maximum prices that can be charged for certain products. Price cap, also called price ceiling or price ceiling. You see in the packets, MRP is written, yes or no? In some of essential goods, government sets the MRP. Suppose, for example, that is so that the prices do not increase further, so that the prices do not increase further beyond that particular level. I hope it's crystal clear, everybody. Come on, everybody. I hope it's crystal clear, everybody. Come on, guys. I'm waiting. So I'll read it out. Price-based regulation involves setting maximum prices that firms can charge or setting price caps or price ceiling. That is the maximum price limit जो आप charge कर सकते हो. That's it. That is what is price-based regulations. I hope it's crystal clear, everyone. Come on, guys. Right, sir. So now, friends, we will talk about, this is done. Market fail power is done. Now we talk about externalities. So point number 2 for the day. Those who want to take a screenshot, take it right away. Now I'll shift to the next point. So I'm waiting. Take the screenshot right away. Great. Now, government intervention to correct externalities. Point number 2. Now we are discussing how to correct externalities. How to correct externalities. Again, it's going to be a long discussion now. Again, it's going to be a long discussion now. So everyone, please pay attention. Okay. Government intervention. Government intervention. Intervention to correct externalities. To correct externalities. Now, friends, here there are two things. Now, friends, here there are two things. See, pay attention, everyone. Number one is in how is externalities corrected? Now pay attention. Sir, how is externalities corrected? There are two ways to do this. Positive externalities you promote, and negative externality you all tell me. To increase negative externality or to reduce negative externality, you tell me. पहले बताइए पॉजिटिव एक्सटर्नैलिटी का क्या करना है. गवर्नमेंट को मार्केट फेलियर ठीक करने के लिए, इन ऑर्डर टू करेक्ट मार्केट फेलियर, व्हाट शुड द गवर्नमेंट डू? इंक्रीज पॉजिटिव एक्सटर्नैलिटी और रिड्यूस पॉजिटिव एक्सटर्नैलिटी? पहले टेल मी दिस. पहले टेल मी दिस. वेरी गुड, यू आर करेक्ट. आप लोग सब बोल रहे हैं इंक्रीज पॉजिटिव एक्सटर्नैलिटी. एकदम सही जवाब. बिल्कुल, आप बनते हैं करोड़पति. सो नाउ यू हैव, you are correct. Increase. You are, your answer is correct. To increase positive externality. To increase positive externality. But what about negative externality? Increase or reduce? Of course, reduce. Reduce negative externality. Reduce negative externality. Yes or no? Come on. Now, in the situation or in the scenario where we talk about increasing positive externality, we can have two options. We means the government. Government can either reward subsidies, because subsidies is a positive externality. So government can increase the subsidy. Or government directly enters into production, because you all know in a government based economy, the objective is social welfare. So government can itself enter into the business, as it does in the case of Steel Authority of India Limited, for that matter, right? And similarly, so many other public sector organizations are there. Coal India Limited, Indian Railways government is running. This is basically production. So in subsidy, it is advisable that government increases subsidy. In production, it is advisable that government itself becomes a business person and enters into the market. Government itself becomes a business person and enters into a market. I hope it's crystal clear, everybody. Right, sir. So let's write down. Let's write down. What is the benefit of subsidy? For the farmers or for any business person, subsidy reduces the cost of production. Because subsidy में क्या होता है? गवर्नमेंट आपका कुछ खर्चा खुद बियर करता है. गवर्नमेंट आपका कुछ खर्चा खुद बियर करता है, तो आपका प्रोडक्शन कॉस्ट तो कम ही हुआ ना. What happens in subsidy? Government bears some portion of your production expenditure. So as a result, your total production expenditure is falling, na? Right? And this will enable you produce more goods. And this will enable you produce more goods. This will enable you produce more goods. So let's write down. Subsidy is given by government. Reduces the cost of production, leading to rise in output by the firms. Output means production, leading to rise in output by the firms. लीडिंग टू राइज इन आउटपुट बाय द फर्म्स। यहां पर क्या होता है, गवर्नमेंट ने सब्सिडी देना शुरू कर दिया, इससे आउटपुट बढ़ जाता है। क्यों? क्योंकि फर्म्स के लिए प्रोडक्शन अब सस्ता हो गया है। क्यों? क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट बियर करने लग गया है कुछ खर्चा। एंड नाउ वी टॉक अबाउट प्रोडक्शन। एंड नाउ वी टॉक अबाउट प्रोडक्शन। हियर गवर्नमेंट डायरेक्टली एंटर्स द मार्केट। गवर्नमेंट enters the market, enters the market directly. Government enter the market directly. Government enter the market directly as an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur मतलब the business person. Directly as an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, government enter the market directly as entrepreneur to produce merit goods. Produce merit goods. Merit goods means that are beneficial for the society. Merit goods means goods that are beneficial for the society. To produce goods beneficial for all. To produce goods beneficial for all. To produce goods beneficial for all. I hope it's crystal clear to everyone. Yes or no? Come on, so that we can talk about reducing negative externalities now. Yes, sir, it's clear. Now, friends, because see, in the process of externalities correction, there can only be two things. Number one, positive increase, negative reduce. Number one, positive increase, and number two, negative reduce. Okay. So now we talk about two things here. Now we talk about two things here in reducing negative externality. Number one is direct control. Number two is indirect control. We are talking about reducing negative externalities. So direct control and indirect control. Let's talk about each one of them. Direct matlab straight away government interference. For example, government can prohibit selected activities. Acha, by the way, direct control and negative indirect control, we are going to talk about in details in the upcoming paragraphs. इसके बारे में और डिटेल में भी बात करेंगे, अभी ब्रीफ में समझा रहे हैं आपको, अभी ब्रीफ में समझा रहे हैं. Ashinka, if you have not seen previous chapters, then first you will have to watch them. Only then you will understand. Okay. Now moving on. So direct control. Prohibit specific activities. This is the direct control by government to reduce negative externality. Example, setting of no smoking zone. You've seen na, there are places where it's written no smoking zone. So the government can set up those areas. What are indirect controls? Indirect controls is like government imposing taxes, government giving license permits. So through this ways, government can control. First of all, note this down, copy this down, everyone. Government intervention to correct externalities. But then we are now going to talk about direct and indirect in details. So don't worry, इसके बारे में अभी डिटेल में बात करेंगे. अभी ब्रीफ में क्लियर है तो कॉपी कर लीजिए या स्क्रीनशॉट ले लीजिए. Please take the screenshot or copy it if it's clear so far. Is this clear so far, by the way, everyone? Come on in the chat box, please. I will repeat, there is only one way to study. Sir, कैसे पढ़ना है? Number one, attend all the classes that we are taking. Number one. Number two, ICI MAT, read thoroughly. ICI MAT, read thoroughly. Bus, that's it. Since it's MCQ, nothing else is required. All right, great, sir. So now we talk about each one of them in detail. Okay. Number one, or point A, you could say direct control over negative externality. Now we will talk about it in details. Direct control over negative externality. Negative externalities. So, what is direct control? The meaning of direct control is that prohibits means restricts activities, any activities that create negative externality. So anything that will create negative externality, you control that, you stop that, you prohibit that. Prohibit activities that create negative externalities. Prohibit activities that create negative externalities. Prohibit those activities that will create negative externalities is what is written here in the direct control portion. In the direct control portion. Is that clear, everyone? डायरेक्ट कंट्रोल ओवर नेगेटिव एक्सटर्नैलिटीज मींस वैसा कंट्रोल जो उन एक्टिविटीज को प्रोहिबिट करता है जिनकी वजह से नेगेटिव एक्सटर्नैलिटीज होती है. नेगेटिव एक्सटर्नैलिटी मतलब जो इकोनॉमी में मिस एलोकेशन ऑफ रिसोर्सेस क्रिएट करता है. क्लियर है? यस सर. नाउ डायरेक्ट कंट्रोल ओवर दिस थिंग इज अचीव्ड बाय हाउ इज इट अचीव? नंबर वन, फॉर एग्जांपल पॉल्यूशन. तो गवर्नमेंट में set limit for emissions means you cannot emit beyond this, harmful gases beyond this. So government may set limit for emissions. You know, the law may be, the government may ask the firms have to install, the government may say that okay firms, you have to install pollution control equipments. You know, in English there is an old adage, the hands that give you the wounds must give you the cure. Exactly the same. If you're causing pollution, you have to control it. The firms have to install pollution control equipments. Pollution control equipments. The firms have to install pollution control equipments. Right? You know, there was this recent TV show on Netflix. The name is The Railway Man, if I'm not wrong. It's on Bhopal gas tragedy. So some, pollution control measures or some measures were not taken to prevent the damage caused by the gas. So those methods should be taken, isn't it? Yes or no? So the firms have to install pollution control equipments. Understood, not understood? If you exceed the permissible limit, then penalty. Penalty for exceeding the permissible limit. Penalty for exceeding the permissible limit for emissions, for emissions, for emissions, government may impose penalty, for exceeding the permissible limit of emissions. If you're emitting more than the specified limit, then penalty should be imposed on you. Penalty for exceeding the permissible limit for emissions. So these are some of the direct control methods we believe should be applied. Is this clear, everyone? If clear, please note it down, take a screenshot, whatever it is. Okay, great. Direct control wala we have done. B. We talk about indirect control now. Controls over negative externalities. Indirect controls over negative externalities. Indirect control over negative externalities. Now we are talking about indirect control. Okay. So number one here we talk about is environment tax or pollution tax. Environment, it is also called indirect control we are talking about, where the government may impose environmental, also called pollution, also called Pigouvian. Pigouvian because Pigot was an economist who gave the idea to impose tax on the factories that cause a lot of pollutions and emissions. Pigovian tax. Pigovian tax. So why it is named after Pigovian tax is basically everyone named after AC Pigot. It is named after AC Pigot. What does it say? What does it say? Make the polluter pay. Make the polluter pay. You know why? Because industries which cause pollution will have to pay pollution tax. So this way externalities can be reduced. Make the polluter pay. Make the polluter pay. And this will increase the private sector's cost of production. This increases private cost of production because the firm's cost will increase if they have to pay tax. This increases firm's cost of production. This increases firm's cost of production. This increases firm's cost of production. Point number one, we have completed. Friends, note this down. Then we talk about second point under indirect control, which is called tradable emissions permit. Tradable emission means how much emission you can do in the atmosphere or in the environment, that there is a cap fixed on that. That is called tradable emission permit. Why is it called tradable? I will tell you. So now what happens, friends? Tradable emissions permits. Now I will tell you what happens. Suppose there are two factories A and B. Now government has established that maximum, you can release gases into the atmosphere is 100 ppm, for example, parts per matter. It's just hypothetical example. And same for factory B, it is 100 ppm. Now what happens is this factory A is producing pollution of 150 ppm. So that extra 50 that it is producing, it cannot produce on its own. It has to first buy the rights to produce more because the government has allowed it only 100 ppm. So now, but B is producing only 40 ppm. Suppose. So what A has to do is A has to go to B and it has to tell B that, see, B, you are producing very less. I need 50 ppm permission from you because you have extra. So B tells that, okay, give me some money. I will allow you my limit. Understood? That is why it is tradable. This is how what is happening is A, who is polluting more, has to pay, and B, who is protecting the environment by polluting less, is profiting by selling the emission rights. Do you understand this? Yes or no? A very good system, isn't it? Come on, everyone. इसमें क्या होता है हिंदी में बताएं तो ए मान लीजिए 100 पार्ट्स पर मैटर प्रोड्यूस करता है बी के पास भी 100 पार्ट्स पर मैटर प्रोड्यूस करने का परमिशन है। ए असल में 150 पीपीएम करता है, तो वेक्टर 50 के लिए इसको बी से खरीदना पड़ेगा। इससे फायदा ये हो रहा है, अब बी बी तो कर ही रहा है 40 है, तो बी के पास तो 60 एक्स्ट्रा पड़ा हुआ है पीपीएम, तो बी उसमें से कुछ पीपीएम राइट्स, इसको अधिकार बोलते हैं, वो ए को बेच सकता है। इसके बदले में क्या होगा? बदले में होगा यू एवरीवन कि ए को ए को बी को पैसा देना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि ए ने बी से अधिकार खरीदा है। ये उसी तरीके से है जैसे आप ये सोचिए ना कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल थिंक ऑफ दिस ना, दैट सपोज देयर इज अ म्यूजिक एल्बम ऑफ सम म्यूजिक कंपनी, आई वांट टू यूज दिस इन माय क्लास फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आई हैव टू टेक राइट्स फ्रॉम दैट कंपनी ना। Exactly, that is what is emission permit. Is that clear? Yes or no? In America, it is very famous. Go ahead. Sir, go ahead. Let's see. So let's see. Marketable. Marketable means that can be bought and sold. Marketable licenses, which are also called permits. By the way, marketable license are also called permits to emit limited quantities of limited quantities of pollutants can be bought and sold by polluters. Can be bought and sold by polluters. Can be bought and sold by polluters. Okay, marketable licenses can be bought and sold by polluters. A firm exceeding the limit, a firm exceeding the limit, a firm exceeding the limit is penalized. Is penalized. Next, next, these are transferable permits. Means you can share their ownership to somebody else. आप इसका अधिकार, इसकी ओनरशिप आप किसी और को बेच सकते हैं. These are transferable. So high polluters have to pay. High polluters have to pay. Low polluters earn. So it's like getting, people are getting reward for polluting less. Low polluters are rewarded. Friends, this is what is going on over here. I hope it's crystal clear, everyone. I hope it's crystal clear, everyone. Yes or no, please. Yes or no? Come on, everyone. Penalized means suppose government had given you 100 ppm, right? You have produced 130 ppm. So government may impose a fine of 1 crore on you. You can save this fine by buying it from some other firm, the emission rights, who is polluting less. They can sell you the right. Otherwise, penalize means penalty lagega, fine lagega. Friends, is this clear? Because now we are going to discuss advantages and disadvantages here. What are we going to discuss? Friends, we are going to discuss advantages and disadvantages here. Okay, let's go. Advantage. Friends, you have advantage, and friends, you have disadvantage. Of what, sir? Of tradable permits. Tradable permits. So there are two things: merits, demerits. Friends, do you have any guesses? What is the advantage of this permit system that can be bought and sold? What is the advantage? What do you say, everyone? You all tell me. Why will I say? Come on, everyone. Tell me. What do you think is the merit and demerit? आपको क्या लगता है? यहाँ merit और demerit क्या क्या है? Very good. See, number one is this system rewards efficiency. So those who are protecting the environment, they are rewarded. Number one. Number two, there is an incentive for innovation. Now, suppose I am a firm who is afraid of penalty. So I will try to find new technology so that I don't pollute more. So indirectly, pollution friendly techniques will improve. So pollution will be less. But you know what the demerit is? Even if some firm has to pay penalty, or even if some firm has to buy the right of tradable permit from somebody, what they will do, they will increase the price of their products so that customers will feel the ultimate burden. This is the disadvantage or demerit of tradable permits, especially if the firm is a monopoly. Then what they will do, whatever penalty they had to bear or whatever rights they had to buy from some other firm, they will merely pass on the costs to the consumers by increasing the prices of the commodities. Isn't it a big disadvantage? सर हिंदी में बोलिए, ठीक है? ट्रेडेबल परमिट्स का सबसे पहले फायदा तो ये है कि पोल्यूशन कम होगा। क्यों? क्योंकि लोग नई नई टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में सोचेंगे। और दूसरी बात, जो लोग इन्वायरमेंट का ध्यान रखेंगे उन लोग को फायदा होगा, उन लोग का प्रॉफिट्स बढ़ेगा, क्योंकि वो लोग अपना ट्रेडेबल राइट्स को बेच सकते हैं। पर सर नुकसान भी है क्या? हाँ। अब आप सोचिए ना, किसी फर्म के ऊपर पेनल्टी लगा है, या किसी फर्म का जो है, आपको आप लोग ये सोचिए, दूसरे फर्म से अधिकार खरीदना पड़ा है, तो जो फर्म ने अधिकार खरीदा है या कुछ भी खरीदा है, वो खुद तो बियर करेगा नहीं, पेनल्टी पे किया है वो खुद तो बियर करेगा नहीं। वो क्या करेगा? सामान महंगा करके कस्टमर के लिए मुसीबत खड़ा कर देगा। तो ये एक डीमेरिट है कि चीजों को महंगा कर देता है। उम्मीद है क्लियर है। आई होप इट्स क्रिस्टल क्लियर। कम ऑन एवरीवन, कम ऑन गाइस। इज दिस क्लियर एवरीवन? कम ऑन। यस सर, वी हैव अंडरस्टूड। तो सर चलिए, लेट्स राइट इट डाउन, लेट्स राइट इट डाउन एवरीबॉडी। कम ऑन, कम ऑन, कम ऑन। Rewards efficiency, encourages innovation. This system encourages innovation. Lower prices. Sir, how? Firms who receive the profits by selling emission rights can reduce the prices by selling emission rights, या tradable permits, by selling their tradable permit rights. Yes or no? Yes, sir. But now we talk about demerits. So if a firm is monopoly, if a firm is monopoly whose products have inelastic demand, that is, demand is high, then they may increase prices to cover penalty, etc., to cover penalty or other charges to buy the rights. Yes or no? Increase prices to cover penalty or other charges. This is the demerit. This is especially true in a firm which has monopoly power, and whose product has inelastic demand, कि लोगों को खरीदना ही खरीदना है. That is the tradable permits advantage or disadvantage, whatever you wanted to ask. Is that clear, everybody? Yes or no? Friends, is that clear? Friends, is that clear? Now moving on. Karthik, monopoly example has been taught in microeconomics. You have studied microeconomics, na, forms of market. There you have studied it. Now copy. Now let's talk about merit and demerit goods. Third case, government intervention in case of merit and demerit goods. Government intervention in case of merit and demerit goods. Government intervention in case of merits and demerit goods. Shall we talk, friends? Government intervention in case of merit and demerit good. Before that, all of you who want to take the screenshot of the previous notes, do it right now. Friends, have you put the heading? Now, my question to you all is, what is merit and demerit goods? Merit और demerit goods क्या होता है आपके हिसाब से? कोई बताएगा क्या? Very good. Friends, merit goods are those that are socially desirable, that increase positive externality. Example, education, healthcare, public libraries, museums, public parks. These are socially desirable, hence merit. Demerit goods, cigarette, alcohols, which are socially undesirable. Demerit goods increase the negative externality. Increase the negative externality. Drugs, they increase the negative externality. Is that clear, everyone? So first of all, write down the difference between merit and demerit goods before we talk any further. Before we talk any further. Merit goods, demerit goods. Number one is, friends, these are socially desirable. Socially desirable. Demerit goods are socially undesirable. Are socially undesirable. This merit goods impose positive externality on the society in general. Impose positive externality. Impose positive externality. On the other hand, demerit goods impose negative externality. They impose negative externality. Impose negative externality. These are merit and demerit goods. Is that clear, everyone? Example, okay. Example, library, healthcare, etc. Here it is alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, etc. Is this clear, everyone? Yes or no? Now, how does government interfere there in the case of merit goods or demerit goods? That is a separate discussion altogether, covered under this head only. But it's merit or demerit goods clear? Yes or no? Come on, everyone. So, friends, for the next 5 to 10 minutes, those who need break now they can go, and those means I will talk about this. And those who have doubt, I am here in the class only. Now you can ask your doubt. Please ask doubts. Please ask doubts. Go ahead. This is for the next 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. After that, I'll continue this topic, how government interferes in case of merit goods and demerit goods. Yes, Anuj, public parks, healthcare are merit goods, correct? Now, friends, I have another question that I have received. So I will explain that. Abatement costs. One of our friends is asking what is abatement expenditure or abatement cost. So, friends, whenever production is taking place, some negative components are being discharged, like pollution in the environment, gases in the environment. So, the cost to minimize the damage of this gases is called abatement cost. That is the cost of removing the negative byproducts during production. So, you can write, if you want, abatement costs is the cost of removing the negative impacts, is the cost to remove the negative impacts of byproducts that are produced during production. These are called abatement cost or abatement expenditure. For example, cost of setting up a pollution control equipment is an abatement cost. Yes, Shivam, you are correct. Merit goods are useful to public, demerit goods are harmful, correct? ppm is parts per matter, just how to measure the pollutant in an environment, how to measure the pollution in environment, like you measure the mass in kgs, distance in kilometers, na? Just like that. It's a measurement unit. Those who wanted to take screenshots, I am showing all the pages for your screenshot purpose. First page, take screenshot. Done. Very good. Second page, take screenshot. Done. Very good. Third page, part 1, take screenshot. Done. Third page, part 2, take screenshot. Done. Fourth page, part 1, take screenshot. Done. Second part, take screenshot. Done. Fifth page, Take screenshot. Done. Very good. Next question, please. Come on, I'm waiting. Yes, ACP Go is the person who gave the concept of pollution tax. If somebody pollutes the environment, impose tax on them. That's why they are, that's why he is famous. Pigo basically. What is cap and trade? Trade means buying and selling. Trade means buying and selling. One of our friends is asking, trade means what? Trade means buying and selling of permits, yes or no? Licenses, yes or no? And cap means fixing the maximum limit that a company can emit in pollution. That is called cap, and trade means buying and selling of that limit between different firms. Ashinka is asking, can you please explain demerits again? Ashinka, demerit goods are those goods which are undesirable for the society, not beneficial for the society. Cigarettes, alcohols, drugs, all these are demerit goods. I'll wait for 2 more minutes and then I'll start. Yes, reading ICAI material is very important. Okay, let's go. Now, methods of government intervention. Friends, what we are discussing now, what we are discussing now is how the government interferes. Government कैसे interfere करता है? Sir, कब? Merit goods के केस में गवर्नमेंट कैसे इंटरफेयर करता है? डिमेरिट गुड्स के केस में गवर्नमेंट कैसे इंटरफेयर करता है? मेरे को एक बात बताइए. You all tell me one thing. What will the government intend to do with merit goods? Increase their production or reduce their production? ये बताइए मुझे, मेरिट गुड्स में गवर्नमेंट क्या करना चाहेगा? विल द गवर्नमेंट वांट टू इंक्रीज द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ मेरिट गुड्स, और विल द गवर्नमेंट वांट टू रिड्यूस द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ मेरिट गुड्स? टेल मी फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल दिस मच, व्हाट से? करेक्ट, exactly, to increase production. So what the government can do, how the government can interfere here is to promote positive externality is government can make consumption of some positive externality. Government can make consumption of some positive externalities. Government can make consumption of some positive externalities compulsory है. Sir, what does that mean? Example, government can make consumption of some positive externalities compulsory. Example, while riding a bike, one must have a helmet on. Government can make helmet compulsory. Helmet is a positive externality. Helmet compulsory. What else, sir? What else, sir? Insurance. Government may make everyone has to have an insurance cover. Insurance mandatory. So yes, government can make the consumption of these commodities compulsory. For example, in schools, government may make yoga compulsory. In colleges, government may make yoga compulsory, or some kind of exercise compulsory, or sports compulsory. Yes or no? Come on, everybody. Yes or no? Come on, everybody. Very good. Number two, government may grant subsidies so that production of some merit goods increases. Government may start producing government provision. That is, government itself starts producing. Government itself starts producing certain goods. Like government produces various goods, iron, steel, related equipments in the economy, and similar other benefits, whatever is necessary. Government operates free healthcare, free education in the society. These are merit goods. Government may itself indulge in the provision of all these things. So that is government provision. Is that clear here? Yes, it's clear. So government provision, subsidies make consumption of some positive externalities compulsory. Is that clear, guys? Come on. Sir, in Hindi, मेरिट गुड्स में गवर्नमेंट क्या कर सकता है? कुछ मेरिट गुड्स जो सोसाइटी के लिए बेनिफिशियल है उसको गवर्नमेंट कंपलसरी कर सकता है, जैसे बाइक चलाते समय हेलमेट पहनना ही पड़ेगा, इंश्योरेंस लेना ही पड़ेगा सबको। सब्सिडी, कुछ चीजों में गवर्नमेंट सब्सिडी दे सकती है जिनसे उसका प्रोडक्शन सस्ता हो जाए। और लास्टली गवर्नमेंट प्रोविजन। गवर्नमेंट प्रोविजन का अर्थ होता है कि गवर्नमेंट कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट कमोडिटीज खुद ही प्रोवाइड करने लग जाए, जैसे गवर्नमेंट फ्री मेडिकेशन, फ्री मेडिसिन, फ्री हेल्थ केयर, फ्री स्कूलिंग, ये सब प्रोवाइड करती है गवर्नमेंट स्कूलों में। तो ये एक मेरिट गुड्स का प्रोविजन हुआ ना, जिसमें गवर्नमेंट खुद ही इंडल्ज हो गया है। उम्मीद है क्लियर है। तो ये हम लोग पढ़ रहे हैं कि गवर्नमेंट इंटरफेयर कैसे करता है मेरिट गुड्स में। अब पढ़ेंगे कैसे इंटरफेयर करता है डी मेरिट गुड्स में। इज दैट क्लियर एवरीबॉडी? यस और नो? कम ऑन एवरीवन। First, note it down. I'm waiting for 2 to 3 minutes and then we will proceed further. I'm waiting for 2 to 3 minutes for you all to copy it down. Please note it down. Yes, Anand, you are correct. Helmets are now compulsory. You are correct, dear. Friends, have you copied it? I'm waiting for done in your chat box so that I can start. Yes, macroeconomics is more about conceptual clarity. You know, earlier that BCK was there. So yes, BCK had concept, but it was more on learning. BCK was more theory, more learning oriented. This macro portion is learning plus concept oriented. If you don't understand the concept, there is no chance you will be able to learn because it's so much, it's so huge. Very good. Some have written done, just waiting for the others to do the same. Let's go. Demerit goods. Everybody, let's talk about demerit goods now. What does government want? You tell me. In the case of demerit goods, you all tell me only. What does the government want here? What does the government want here? क्या गवर्नमेंट डीमेरिट गुड्स को प्रोडक्शन को बढ़ाना चाहेगी, घटाना चाहेगी? आपको क्या लगता है, थोड़ा बताइए हमें. क्या लगता है आपको? ऑब्वियसली घटाना, रिड्यूस. Yes, government will want to reduce their production. Now how? The question is how. Number one, you all know, ban. Example, some intoxicating drugs are banned. You cannot consume drugs. Ban. Intoxicating drugs, for example. Ban means no production allowed. For example, in case of intoxicating drugs. Next, persuasion through negative advertising. Persuasion through advertising. Government persuades us through negative advertising. I will give you an example. Na? Persuasion through negative advertisement. I will give you an example. How many of you know Mukesh? How have you heard the name? Let's see who is able to guess who Mukesh is. So now I will tell you. Now I will tell you. Yes, very good, Karthik. Whenever you go to a movie hall, initially they play that ad of this guy Mukesh who had this habit of smoking and some pan masala and other things he used to eat. So the government shows such drastic pictures of the diseases he had to go through so that all of us feel afraid and prevent ourselves from indulging into those practices. Yes or no, everyone? Exactly my point. Exactly my point. I hope it's crystal clear to everybody. Yes or no? Come on, everyone. Is that clear, everyone? So now this can be done. Government can impose high taxes. Government can impose high taxes. Government can impose high. Government can impose high taxes. Friends, government can impose high taxes. Sir, can you give us an example? Yes, high-end cars. pan masala, alcohol are subjected to high rate of taxes by the government, as government is wanting, you know, wanting to discourage us from the consumption or indulgence into these items. Government doesn't want for us to indulge into these items. Hopefully it's crystal clear, everyone. Similarly, now high-end cars is intentionally done. That's not exactly a negative externality, but still, pan masala, alcohol, cigarettes, understood. Now moving on. Government intervention in other areas. Government intervention in other areas. In other areas. Other areas. You remember there was another problem. This was the third case. Now we are dealing with the fourth one. You all remember there were four causes of market failures that we studied in the last class. You see na, market power, externality, public private goods, information failure. So now we talk about this information failure thing only. Information failure. So in the case of information failure, how will government interfere? See, what is information failure? Two parties having different information. So now, as per SEBI, in stock markets, some disclosures by all the companies and stock exchanges have become compulsory so that there is no information mismatch. Okay, people who want to take screenshot, here it is. First take the screenshot, here it is. So how does the government correct information failure? By making some disclosures mandatory so that there is no information mismatch. Yes or no? Free market is a market where demand forces and supply forces operate. Okay. So point A, in information failure, it is mandatory. In information failure, it is to prevent information failure, it is mandatory now to have content disclosures. Means you disclose everything properly, to have content disclosures. Example, SEBI requires accurate information. SEBI requires accurate information to be provided to prospective buyers of new stocks. To prospective buyers of new stocks. SEBI requires accurate information to be provided to prospective buyers of new stocks. To be provided to prospective buyers of new stocks. Mandatory to have content disclosures. Mandatory to have content disclosures. Is that clear, everyone? There is mandatory, it is mandatory, you see, to have content disclosures. Is that clear, guys? Come on. Yes, sir, it's clear. Setting of advertising standards. So now nobody can do, you know, advertising that is misguiding in nature. Regulation of advertising of advertising and setting of advertising standards to make advertising more responsible and informative, so that there is no information failure taking place. Understood or not? This is just information failure we have done. Government intervention in other areas में. तो मतलब इसमें दो पॉइंट्स है. इंफॉर्मेशन फेलियर की वजह से मार्केट फेलियर ना हो, इसकी वजह से गवर्नमेंट ने अब सेबी के थ्रू स्टॉक मार्केट डिस्क्लोजर्स मैंडेटरी कर दिया है, जिससे किसी को भी इंफॉर्मेशन की वजह से गलत डिसीजन ना लेना पड़े. और लास्टली जो एडवर्टाइजिंग भी होती है कमोडिटीज की, अब वो इंफॉर्मेटिव और मिसगाइडिंग, इंफॉर्मेटिव होना चाहिए और मिसगाइडिंग नहीं होना चाहिए. यस, इसीलिए आप लोग देखो, दिस इज व्हाई यू सी at the back of the product now, you all see in the recent times or in the past 10 to 20 years product related information like the protein content, carbohydrate content, sugars, saturated fats, unsaturated fats. Yes, all that is mentioned at the back of the product label. Is that done, everybody done? Okay, so for your purpose, I will read this out. Information failure. It's mandatory to have content disclosures. Example, SEBI requires accurate information to be provided to prospective buyers of new stocks. Second thing is regulation of advertising and setting of advertising standards to make advertising more responsible and informative. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Other areas. Government intervention in other areas is what we speak as of now. Government intervention in other areas. 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 Okay, let's talk about it then. Shall we, friends? Yes, sir, we can. Let's go ahead. Public goods in other areas only. This heading is going on only. Okay. First one was information failure. Now the second one is public goods. Friends, do you remember what are public goods? Friends, do you remember what are public goods? Public goods. So let's talk about it then. Public goods means where government indulges into the production. These are goods that can be made private. Some goods can be made private, but this may prove dangerous. For example, atomic energy, defense, government is controlling. Why? Because if you leave it to private sector, it may become dangerous. You see, America is always at war because their private sector is regulating the defense. How they will act? They will want more war to happen. See, if government is indulging in production, government will want less war to happen. If private businesses indulge, private businesses work for profit, so they will be happy when there is war. So private companies will try to create situations which create war. So in such circumstances, government gives projects to people. Like recently, Ambani or Adani got for some fighter planes to be covered and some work to be done on them. So licensing can be done, but full control cannot be given. These are public goods which are under the government control strongly. See, public goods. So let's write down. Write it with me. Write it along with me. Come on, everyone. Certain goods are produced as public goods and services despite the fact that they can be produced as private goods, means private sector can produce them, that they can be produced as private goods. They can definitely be produced as, you see, private goods. They can definitely be produced as private goods. They can definitely be produced as private goods. However, left to the markets, left to the markets and profit motives, left to the markets and profit motives, left to the market and profit motives, these may prove these may prove dangerous to the society. These may prove dangerous to the society. These may prove dangerous to the society. So how is it done? Government gives licenses. A common method, we are talking about how government interferes, you see. A common method is to grant licenses to private firms to build a good facility. Understood? This is all about public goods. So government grants licenses. Government grants licenses. Now, friends, let me ask you some MCQs if you all are ready. If you all are ready, then I will ask some MCQs. Come on, are you ready, everybody? Okay, let's go. Yes, government intervention in other areas is still pending, but let's do some MCQs before, we indulge into some other discussion. Okay. Question is, For demerit goods, subsidies and taxes are A, increased, increase, B, increase, decrease, C, decrease, increase, D, no change. Come on, everyone, answer me this question. So now pay attention. See what is happening. For demerit goods, see subsidies. You know, if you talk about subsidies, all right, subsidies reduce the cost of goods. For demerit goods, you will decrease the subsidies and increase the taxes. So C is going to be your answer. Next question. Next question. In monopoly power, in monopoly power, what misallocation takes place? What misallocation takes place? Generally, generally. A, overproduction with low prices, overproduction with high prices, underproduction, underproduction with low prices, and underproduction with high prices. Come on, everybody. वेरी गुड, क्या बात है. के एस अनग, वेरी गुड यार. वेरी गुड मधु, पवन, मुनीश, साक्षी, नो, गलत. ओके, सो सी, सी. There is underproduction and the prices are high. So D is the correct answer. D is the correct answer. Very good, Anil. Jairam, very good, Muskan. Karthik, correct. All right, great. Next question. If for some goods, social costs are greater than private costs, comma, they are merit goods, demerit goods, both, none. If for some goods, social costs are greater than private costs, if for some goods, social costs are greater than private costs, if for some goods, social costs are greater than private costs, they are what goods? They are what goods? They are merit goods, demerit goods, both or none. So, friends, if for some goods, social costs are greater than private costs, see, costs are greater, costs of society are greater. Of course, they are demerit goods because society is having to bear the cost. So they are demerit goods, of course. Very good, Mr. Motiani, Rajesh Kumar, very good. Miss Muskan, very good. Very good, Mr. Mohammed Farhan Sheikh. Yes. Understood, not understood? Yes, sir. It's crystal clear. Is this clear, everyone? Now, moving on to the next one. This discussion on government intervention is going on only. It's still on. Okay. Government intervention in other areas discussion. It's still on. Now we talk about price controls by the government. Two we have already done. In other areas, we have number one done information failure. Number two, we have done public goods. And number three, now we are on to price controls. Price controls. Price controls. So, friends, how many of you have heard of price controls? See, there are two types of price controls: price ceiling, price floor. Price ceiling, price floor. Price ceiling is the maximum price that one can charge for the product. Price floor is the minimum price that one deserves for their product. Depending on the type of good government fix. For example, for farmers, sometimes farmers have to sell at very low price. So government may fix for them price floor. That is, this is the minimum price at which one can buy from the farmer or above that. If nobody buys, government buys from the farmer. It is called MSP, minimum selling price. हिंदी में बोलता हूं, फिर इंग्लिश में वापस बोल दूंगा. काफी बार क्या होता है ना, जब मार्केट में क्रॉप्स का यानी फसल का दाम बहुत कम हो जाता है, तो फार्मर्स को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए गवर्नमेंट चीजों का मिनिमम दाम अनाउंस कर देता है, जिसको एमएसपी, मिनिमम सपोर्ट प्राइस कहते हैं, जिसके दरमियान गवर्नमेंट फार्मर्स को यह कह रहा है कि फार्मर्स, अगर कोई तुमसे इससे नीचे में खरीदना चाहे तो मत बेचना, हम तुमसे इस दाम पे खरीद लेंगे. इसको एमएसपी बोलते हैं. Now translating it into English, here the government is setting up a minimum bar. If anyone is trying to buy from the farmers at lower than the price set by the government, then the government tells the farmers to, restrain from doing that. Government is going to buy it from the farmers at MSP, minimum support price. Now, sir, in case of some essential commodities, like you could say rice is a staple food, so rice, wheat, prices may become so high that the lower middle class or the poor may not be able to afford it. So what does the government do then? Government imposes maximum price. Government imposes maximum price. So when the government is imposing maximum price, when the government is imposing maximum price for those commodities, it means that nobody can charge than that maximum specified price. Is that clear, everyone? Is that clear, everyone? Shall we start rising? So let's talk about that. Let's write down. Price controls may take the form of either a price floor, that is a minimum price, buyers are required to pay, or price ceiling, that is the maximum price sellers are allowed to charge for a good or service. Example, fixing of minimum wages and rent control. Fixing of minimum wages and rent controls. So what are price controls? Price controls may take the form of either a price floor or price ceiling. Example, fixing of minimum wages and rent controls. Is that clear, dear students? Yes. So government intervenes to manage price as to manage price as a initiation of minimum support price program, minimum initiation of minimum support price program for crop production. For crop production, initiation of minimum price support program or minimum support price program for crop production, so that even if nobody buys, agar koi nahi bhi kharide, to government will buy it from the farmers at this low price. It is done to encourage farmers to continue production, right? This ensures steady income to farmers. This ensures steady income to farmers. What does this ensure? This ensures steady income to farmers. इससे इंश्योर होता है फार्मर्स का एक लगातार इनकम का सोर्स बना रहता है. This ensures steady income to farmers. So this is third point, price control. And now government intervention in other areas. The fourth point and the last one. The last one. First screenshot, please. Those who need the screenshot, please. First portion, then I'll go down and show the next portion as well. Come on, friends, come on. Have you taken the screenshot, guys? Yes, sir. Now, government intervention in the other areas, we are now going to discuss in government intervention. Government intervention in other areas. Last thing is equitable distribution. Equitable distribution. Equitable distribution. So friends, to summarize price control is very easy thing. Basically what price control means is that the government charges price in such a way. Price control means that the government charges price in such a way that the rights of farmers or consumers are protected. For example, how farmers right is protected? Suppose the price of a crop is 20 rupees a kg. Now, suppose the market decides, the consumer decide that, okay, we will buy it from farmers at 10 rupees a kg. Now, government will interfere that, no, you are doing wrong. The cost of making or producing is 20 rupees. So, government guarantees farmers that, okay, 30 rupees a kg is the minimum support price. What does that mean? Means if anybody wants to buy it from farmers at less than 30, farmer will not sell them. Minimum 30 or above 30 only you can buy it from the farmers. So sir, if nobody buys from the farmers, no problem, government will buy the entire stock of farmers at 30 rupees. That is the logic of MSP or price control to ensure price stability. Hopefully it's clear. Now moving on to equitable distribution. Now moving on to equitable distribution. Right? Equitable distribution. Equitable distribution of what? Equitable distribution of income and wealth. Income and wealth. How is it done? Number one, through progressive taxation. Does any of my friends know what is progressive taxation? क्या होता है progressive taxation? किसी को पता है? मैं उदाहरण देता हूं. मान लीजिए 0 से 5 लाख रुपया किसी का इनकम है. एक बार ऐसे ही बात कर रहा हूं तो टैक्स रेट इज 0%. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, दिस इज नॉट द रियल टैक्स रेट. For 5 to 10 lakhs, suppose somebody has income, the tax rate is suppose 5%. When somebody has income from, let's say, 10 lakh to 50 lakhs, suppose the tax rate is 30%. For example, these are not true figures. For 50 lakh to 1 crore, suppose the tax rate is 40%. So friends, what is happening is, you see, as the incomes are rising, tax rates are also rising. This is called equitable distribution or progressive taxation. That is, tax the richer, save the poorer. Yes, this is called progressive taxation. This is called progressive taxation. Progressive taxation. This is called progressive taxation. Everyone, this is called progressive taxation. Understood? So now, first of all, this is progressive taxation. So number one is progressive taxation. Unemployment compensation. Sir, what is unemployment compensation? I will explain. Friends, have you heard of a program of government called Manrega? Anybody? In your 11-12 economics, you must have studied. It stands for Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. Now, what is this Manrega? Friends, this is for rural employment. It was enacted in 2005, where what happens is government gives to people in rural areas 100 days of guaranteed employment. If government is unable to give them jobs during this 100 days, government will give them salary even when they are sitting at home. मनरेगा में ये होता है कि गवर्नमेंट लोगों को घर बैठे सैलरी देगी 100 दिन के लिए रूरल एरिया में, अगर गवर्नमेंट उनको 100 दिन का नौकरी नहीं दे पाई तो. इसको बोलते हैं अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट कॉम्पेंसेशन, बेरोजगारी भत्ता। हिंदी में इसको बेरोजगारी भत्ता बोलते हैं, कि क्योंकि किसी के पास नौकरी नहीं है तो उनको सपोर्ट करने के लिए गवर्नमेंट कुछ पैसे दे रही है। सिंस somebody doesn't have a job, to support their livelihood, government is incurring some expenditure, that is called unemployment compensation. Also, government intervenes to combat black economy. Sir, what is black economy? Can anyone tell me? Sir, what is black economy? Sir, what is black economy? Can anyone tell me? Aisha, targeted budgetary. Aisha is asking what is targeted budgetary allocation. Aisha, government makes a budget. And as per budget, government commits some amount that government will spend, suppose 1,000 crores on school, 2,000 crores on health. This is target budgetary allocation. That is it. Spending of the government as per the budget. That is called targeted budgetary allocation. Yes. So our friends, like for example, Karthik and Anand have told, black economy means corruption. Economy where there is corruption, where there is black money. Sir, what is black money? Does that money look different from ordinary money? No. Black money is simply a money which is unreported to the government, where you have not reported to the government that you have certain amount at your disposal and you are not paying tax on that amount. That is what is black money. You know, a few times back, few years recently, that is last 4 to 5 years, I guess, or maybe 6 to 7, there was this notbandi, or we could call it demonetization, that took place, where 500 and 1,000 rupee notes were no more a legal tender. This is some of the efforts which government is taking to ensure there is equitable distribution and that black money doesn't prevail. To ensure that black money doesn't prevail, everyone. Yes, 2016. Thank you. So that is 7 to 8 years back. Correct. Yes. So friends, these steps are taken by government. Now let me ask you another MCQ question. If you have been listening so far, then you will be able to answer me this. Okay. The idea of pollution tax was put forward by A. Adam Smith, Lionel Robbins, Lionel Messi, D. AC Pigo. What say everyone? Yes, sir. Very good. Ariharan, very good. Karthik, very good. KS Anag, very good. Anand, good work. So, friends, you all are correct in saying that it is D that is there. Next, marketable licenses are also called currency permission, permit, notes. Come on, everyone. Answer me this one. Very good. Permits is the correct answer. Next question. Price cap refers to fixing of A. Minimum price, maximum price, none, average price. What does price cap refer to? Come on, everybody. What does price cap refer to? Come on, everyone. For the last question, permit answer was given correctly by Vaishnavi, Priyanka, Shivam, Sana, Mohammad Farhan Sheikh. Okay, Aisha, correct answer for the last one, that is price cap question. You have answered it correctly. Same with Priti. Yes. Mr. Monish. Shivam, correct answer, dear. It refers to the setting up of, you are correct, everybody, in saying it refers to the setting up of maximum price. It refers to the setting up of maximum price. Next question. In case of monopoly power, government intervenes. Government intervenes to A, increase competition, B, reduce competition, C, both, D, none. In case of monopoly power, in case of monopoly power, also called market power, why does the government intervene? Why does the government interfere? To increase competition, reduce competition, both or none? Come on, everybody. Tell me which one. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. You all are correct. Very good, Sahil, Sana. Answer is to increase competition. The answer is to increase competition. Government wants to increase competition, as the monopoly power, if it prevails for too long, it will tend to even cause more market failure or even greater misallocation of resources. Is that clear? Yes or no? Come on, everybody. So friends, if it's crystal clear, then that's it. We have completed the government intervention also. Next day, we are going to discuss fiscal policy, which will be the last part of the public finance chapter. That's it for the day. Thank you very much. Goodbye, everyone, for the day. Thank you. Tata.